5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 0.5.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't have the confidence yet. Okay, yeah.
Well, it's always gonna go live before you see it. So if you wait for that,
then we're already too late.
Slow.
Yeah, I know. But look, faith is everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm a visual guy. Trust me, I got faith issues. But look, welcome back to Words Never Spoken, episode 29. I overshot on purpose because I feel like I was going to undershoot it. Are we episode 29?
30.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is 30.
Okay, episode 30. Welcome back, guys, audience. Thank you so much for still tuning in, subscribing. Please, if you're joining, if you're joining later, like the broadcast, share, comment. We have a special guest today, but before I get into that,
most of y'all need her.
Most of y'all need her, especially millennials. It's 2021, man. We gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about marriage. All right, we're gonna talk about: am I ready to get married? Are you ready to get married? Is marriage relevant? Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Look, somebody call my mom and dad. Mom, dad. My parents divorced when I was 10 or 11, y'all. So yeah, that's what I went through when I was going through. Yeah, they made it a long time, actually. They probably promised to do it till 18. They was like, F it, we can't take this. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to introduce, I am your host, Tyrone Tied Up, Instagram, TYED__UP. And I have my co-host, Austin Toes. What's good?
What's happening, everybody? You already know what it is. It's your boy, Austin Toes TV on all social medias. A lot of stuff coming soon, so be on the lookout for it. What's good, Carmen? Everybody drop a like on the video if you're in the chat. We love you. Thank you for coming.
And we have two guests today. No, I'm gonna save not the best for last. I'm gonna say the professional for last.
Oh wow!
I was thinking about not even going there. But Crystal, please introduce yourself. It's a very special person here.
After that beautiful introduction.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right.
With Crystal.
Wait. I'm sorry. My homegirl, my sister, my partner in crime. Yo, not because I'm so used to it. I'm sorry. Special guest, thank you for joining us, Crystal Tompkins. What's good with you?
Thank you. That was a good introduction. I appreciate it.
I'll do better next time.
Okay.
Go ahead. What you got to say, though?
Oh, I mean, just follow me on Instagram, XChrissy, X. That's it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. And then Miss Dr. Marika Martin.
Put some respect on her name.
The marriage counselor. How we doing, Marika? Is everything good? You still hear us?
Yes, I can still hear you. Can you still hear me?
Yes, perfect. And so, yeah, okay. so welcome to the show. A brief introduction, if you don't mind. Matter of fact, I'll help you out if you can allow me. Okay, so Dr. Marika Martin is a marriage counselor. She's licensed in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. She's here to give us some help, guys. All right, we're going to dive right into it. But first, I want to know, as well as maybe the audience, how did you become a marriage counselor? Is that something you always wanted to do, or how did you end up pursuing that field?
Okay. Actually, it wasn't something that I always wanted to do. I started out just graduating from high school, attending college, and I wanted to be a physical therapist. So I knew it was somewhere in the area, right, of helping people and helping people heal. But I did not get the good science and math gene from my parents. So that didn't work out too well. So I had to kind of regroup. And then what happened is that I attended I attended Miami University of Ohio, and there I took a course where you could choose your own track. And so I really honed in and focused on how mental health really affects your physical health. And so looking at relationships, divorce, and how all of those were connected. And then I began to narrow my focus more. And then I applied to Texas Tech University in their dual program for marriage and family therapy. And that's what happened. I fell in love with it. It's my passion. I really enjoy working with couples, individuals, and families. I appreciate and I respect them for allowing me to be a part of their journey, and so yeah, so that's how I
Wow.
became a therapist.
Wow. How long have you been doing it? Do you remember what year was your first couple that you spoke to, or was it an individual about marriage that you spoke to first?
Actually, it was. I would say it probably was an individual. Like when I first started in the program, they don't let you like out the gate, right? So they kind of ease you in. So I started working with teens first, troubled youth that had kind of made some bad decisions in life, and so I started working with them, and then individuals, and then couples.
Oh, okay.
But I would say total it was in 2003.
Wow. Okay.
In
So the
in the summer, like in the summertime.
Okay, so about
Yeah.
summer to 2003. These teens that you were working with, were they teens like was that were they interested in marriage, or was that something separate as far as the mental health that kind of went?
No, no, just mental health, like depression, anxiety, and just needing support. And so, what marriage and family therapy, like, while we have specific training, right, and working with couples, there's also families as well. And so, some of these children didn't have what I learned very early is it wasn't about, it's not always about like technique, but really about relationship building. And so, a lot of therapist client or therapist patient interaction is about the relationship. Like if you don't have a relationship, then you're not going to trust me. You're not going to want to continue to come. You're not going to listen to any direction, any support, because there's no relationship there. And so a lot of times we would go to the detention center and we would play games with them. We would just sit with them, have them just tell us what's going on, how's your day, even if they just wanted to talk about their family or didn't want to talk about anything. But it was definitely different than ordering them around and not giving them any choice, but allowing them to have a voice and talk about what was going on with them. And so then what happened, relationships build and they look forward to us coming there.
Understood.
So before we one last thing on this point, before we get into the actual marriage side of things, which is our conversation today, I'm one of those people, and I will want to ask your professional opinion about how you approach somebody somebody like me who has had daddy issues, right? And my daddy issues turned into male father figure issues. So I have trouble opening up and speaking to men once I build a real relationship with them. And so I always said, if I ever go to therapy, it has to be a woman, somebody I could see as a mom, a aunt, a grandma, like somebody I could build a relationship with and talk to in that aspect. Is that like a normal thing that you see in the profession, or am I weird?
So something that you will probably learn really quickly with me is that I don't use certain words. I'm not going to say what is normal, because what do we know, right? What really is normal? I'm not going to use the term crazy. I'm not going to use the term weird. And it really is what you feel comfortable with. And I'm going to tell you, like, if you feel comfortable with a woman, if you felt more comfortable with a man, if you felt more comfortable with someone that looked like you, meaning a brown person, or not, then that's really up to you. And then we work on that. And so if you came to see me and you were talking to me like I specifically sought you out because you're a woman, then I would say, tell me more about that. Tell me what's going on and get more of your history. And as you begin to talk and I ask you questions, then you will begin to explore and be curious about that, and things will start to unfold for you. But it's not for me to say, oh, you're weird or something's wrong with you, because that's not going to be helpful.
I like that, because I'm going to be honest with you. One of the reasons that I have hesitated even going to therapy is because I know that's going to come up, and I'm going to say it because I speak my mind. I don't BS or anything. So I'm going to be like, look, the reason I'm coming to you is because you're a woman, and I don't want to freak a woman out by like I don't want her to, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think that would be
the therapist uneasy.
I don't think that'd be shocking for them to hear at all.
Yeah, that's probably light work compared to crazy stuff they've
Probably.
been hearing all day.
You know what I mean?
Probably.
Yeah.
That was just always on my mind. Like it was always a thing for me. I was like, oh man, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to raise any alarms.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, speaking on this, I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but it's popular for black community. Black community kids they have a lopsided amount of young kids that don't grow up with their father. I wouldn't be surprised if they do suggest women therapists to talk to a young black person, a male, in order to obey them, as opposed to a dude of authority. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it kind of reminds you of the quote unquote bitter mom that treat their kid because you look just like your daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that. Now, what year did you have your first couple that you actually? It was like a couple that actually sat down with you in order to better their marriage.
I would say 2003 still.
Oh.
Yeah, because I would still say 2003. So I kind of went back to back. So I graduated from undergrad. I took a little longer than statistically, right? Or non-statistically rather. I took a little longer than 4 years. But when I graduated from undergrad, I started in the summer in my first graduate program. And then when I finished in 2003, I went directly to Texas Tech. And then I started the summer of 2003.
Wow.
That's
So,
fire.
so I just kind of went back to back. And so with that, I saw my first couple during that time. It just wasn't right away.
Oh.
Like they just kind of start you doing other work with individuals with children, just to kind of get you warmed up and to be able to really instill in you like what it's supposed to look like. And that's the relationship building.
So when you saw your first couple, did you at that moment say, okay, yeah, I want to continue to do work like this? Is that the?
I think I honestly believe like I just loved it.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, like it became my passion. Like the moment I started in that and I got accepted into the program, like I really just enjoyed it. Like when you applied and you interviewed, we had mock interviews. So like the students previously, right, they pretended to be couples and families. And so you had to, like, not knowing anything. Like some people that came to the program, their master's was already clinical. So mine was not. Mine was research, right? So coming in, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have no experience sitting down with a family, but it was good. And then actually doing it, I really, really enjoyed it.
Wow.
Do you think your history of being in research actually gave you a different perspective than somebody who went the other path? Like, as far as the information that you collected, like maybe a deeper dive of information compared to somebody who didn't do the research side as deep as you?
I'm not sure. Maybe a different perspective, but I definitely had. I would say use myself. Like I had a good mentor. I had good professors, so I could use my experience, and it wasn't shameful. So, for example, working with someone like earlier on, I worked with someone that had lost, and I had lost. And I remember being tearful and I was embarrassed because I'm like, oh my goodness, like I have people behind the mirror because that's how it's a mirror, like your fellow students are watching you. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I come out and my mentor is like, that was great. And I'm like, what? And he was like,
wow.
Yeah, he was like, I totally felt that she felt comfortable with you, that she trusted you. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh my goodness.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's not like, that's very early on in my career.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna credit myself in it like that, but I'm glad I'm at least half of that. That's my dad's side. Like they're different type of sandwiches. I mean, I see my cousin Marvin, come on about the mental health and everything like that. They're just some pure people, and I could talk about them like that because I know I'm not. So I could talk about. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're just all of them has this quality. It's like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, but in a good way. It's like, man, it's like if they make their own bubble world, everybody will be fed and equally spread. You know what I'm saying? So all this is not surprising at all. You know what I mean? What I want to do is I want to dive into the questions that people should ask themselves. All right,
get to it.
And I'm gonna start with.
Oh yeah, I have some.
Please go hard on both the men and women, but I want to know what. First of all, we'll start with women for this particular question. What is 3 important questions a woman should ask before considering marriage? A woman.
So, 3 important questions a woman should ask herself. So these definitely, I would say, can be fluid questions. And if you ask another clinician, she may come up with something different. And so what I would say is, 1, can you live with that person through really difficult times, right? So can you like that person? So I may love you, when everything is great in the honeymoon stage, I'm like falling all over myself, like in love with you. Like I could just pick you up, right? But then in the storm, do I still like you? Do I still like you at your core?
Right.
Can I, if something were tragic to happen, life just throws us curveballs. And I talk about this with my premarital couples. Can we endure? And are you my friend?
Yeah.
And these are things that are not necessarily addressed because we get caught up in, and I would say all of us, like humans, we get caught up in the beauty, the no responsibility, the just like, I'm just goo goo gaga over you. And then when all of that is over, right? So 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. Can I go through the fire with you?
Let me ask you, how can you tell if you're past the infatuation phase? What are some things you could do to test that, whether you're in past that? Because I heard the infatuation phase, everything is perfect, you overlook so much stuff, but love is when you don't overlook the stuff, you acknowledge it, but you're willing to accept it. What's your opinion on how you can tell if you're actually past the infatuation phase?
Honestly, I just say time. Like, are you talking about things and are you being honest with yourself? And so that's the big, are you being honest? Can you have like real conversations? One of the things that I talk about, there's so much, so sex is good, right? Sex is good in marriage, right?
Like that, yeah.
But one of the things
Is that good?
I don't think you're gonna get an argument here. Yes, it's very good.
that I often talk about, right, is that conversational intimacy. So someone very near and dear to me talked about a 30-year conversation.
Hold on. Say that last part again. I'm sorry. Someone near and dear to you.
Someone very near and dear to me talked about a 30-year conversation. So are we still talking? Are we still sitting close to each other? Are we still giving each other eye contact? Do I still want to look at you? What is our intimacy like? And that's greater than the sex.
Yeah.
The sex is empty. The sex is the act. If we're not talking, if we're not, what I tell my couples, having sex before the sex, we should be having sex like 6 a.m, all through the day, and then I see you, then it's on.
Oh, you mean like verbal sex? You mean like mental stimulation?
Yes.
Okay.
There's no way you thought.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay. So, and obviously, okay, because you're saying that. Okay, this comes to my theory. This is my theory about sex. All right. Because back when I just back when I was just beating them off me, they just couldn't stop coming to me. Say, no, I'm just joking. But no, seriously.
He's not joking.
Back when I was reckless, when I was out in these streets, put it out this. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when I was whatever. You know what I'm saying? When I was out there, I stopped having sex with strangers because I noticed personally that it came to it was a climax. There was a ceiling. And the only way for me personally to go above that ceiling was when I got to know the girl better and I built the anticipation up and I actually felt and cared for the person. That after I had that experience, I didn't even want to have sex with strangers anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because it felt like a waste of time to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, even the feeling wasn't worth the effort.
Okay, so that makes sense to me because I've always done it that way.
Okay.
Like, I've never had sex with anybody I'll say love because even if it wasn't real love, I thought it was love.
Yeah,
like,
you had
genuinely
some abnormal feelings for it. Yeah.
And so now when friends will talk to me and be like, yo, she throwing it at you, just hit the joint. And I'm like,
it's too easy.
Nah, because I ain't feeling her.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just have sex to have sex because it doesn't, like, I might as well just watch porn.
Right. Well,
because there's no emotional connection to it. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
I do it and I'm done.
Yeah, go ahead. I disagree with the porn thing, but I get your point. The body being there is just something totally. But okay, I got you.
It's just an empty action.
I understand.
If I don't have a deeper feeling for
it. Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. And you know what I'm saying. And I think that leaving the bed with leaving the bed, man goes his way, woman goes his way. I think personally is more damaging to the woman. So I started feeling bad for the significant others. I know some women could be cold hard and they could do it and not have. Okay, cool. But I think overall, it's more damaging to the chick. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, so I felt like you can't be doing this, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was able to afterwards, and I wasn't sure if their scissors was dull or not. But anyway, okay, so you're saying that it's important to have the mental stimulation. So do you feel like it's fair to say, this is gonna be a personal? You could do the duck and dodge of this question if you want. You could do the little Kim in this joint. But do you feel like to a certain extent it's healthy to even give it a certain time limit before you do have sex when meeting a person, just to see if the mental stimulation is there?
Mm-hmm. Not that so.
I would say that is on the person.
Okay.
It depends.
To say, like, because sometimes people are okay with having sex and they don't want, for whatever reason, they don't want to have the emotional or conversational intimacy.
Okay.
So to say that, oh yeah, they should wait until they see. I will say that when you have sex with someone, I've seen it too often, no matter how much you say this is all that it's going to be, it is much more than just
I don't believe, I'm sorry, I'm a guy, so I have to speak for women because I don't have sex with men, but I noticed that with women, I'm very convinced that that's true. I'm sorry.
You got a woman
and I never have sex with her.
But she's here for the women.
You don't
speak for women. You got women.
I don't think she's gonna say she's right. I don't think she's gonna say I get fucked up from that. Okay, I'll let you speak for yourself. Go ahead.
Like she said, if you have a connection with the person, but if you don't have a connection, it's kind of like whatever. But it depends on the woman. Some women just fall in love or get attached easily, and some don't. So it just depends on your personality. I'm not gonna speak for all people, but I am aware of women on both sides. Some women be like, I just want to have sex.
I don't think it's the same
for men. I 100% think it's the same.
Wait, hold on.
You
go ahead.
It's whatever. But me, if I have sex with her, I'm gonna be like, so what we doing about? Like,
I feel you.
I'm not walking. Like
I feel
I would
you.
rather you wear. Like I don't want you to go home. Like stay the night. I got a good shower. Like
It just depends on your personality.
Let's keep it real though.
You Austin for your honesty, because I believe just in my behind closed doors, there are more. And it's not gender specific, but there are more that feel your way. There is an attachment, and even if it comes out where the one person is more territorial, this whole we're just having sex, this is all we're doing. Have sex with someone else, and that person knows. Have someone interrupt that secret sexcapade that you're having, and you will notice.
Yeah, I feel that.
In some ways, I would say men delude themselves. I think men are actually might be worse than women.
I agree with that.
Men will
once again, it depends on the personality. But I've had
go
some
to the
crazy
gang,
experiences.
go to the homies and be like, "Yeah, I'm just crushing that junk." But
The whole
then
time
he
Paul
hear
are
about
crying in secret.
Paul down the street, or he hear about his other mans in the gang or whatever, and he ready to shoot or fight. Why? I thought you was just crushing that junk. She not yours.
I believe. Look, I can't deny that happens, but in the culture that I'm around, obviously a lot of battle rappers, bruh, unless it's their baby mom or their ex, bruh, let me know how it was.
You don't know what's happening behind closed doors.
I'm not saying they're all.
I've had some guys pretend that, and then he's calling my phone 30 times crying.
Yeah,
but in public, oh no, I'm good. Yeah.
No. So
and
I believe that those men exist. I believe.
I'm just saying.
I mean, look, I respect both of y'all thoughts on it. Honestly, I believe that it does exist for men. I'm not saying all men are just walking around.
It depends on your personality.
But I do think it's more men that can do it emotionless. That's just me. I'm sorry. All right.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right. Look.
With you, I truly believe that men are more emotional than women. That's
okay, all right. That's
opinion.
a different.
That's my.
That's a big.
Opinion.
That's a hot
but
take.
Your
your
emotions
just
matter,
based on
right?
my life
experience.
Doctor.
Y'all bugging.
On my life
Okay. Hold on. All right, so
Martin.
All right, so look. We're gonna get down that. That's a hot take right there. Okay, but look though. Okay, so if one of the things the woman should ask is, does she actually like him? Can she actually see him every day? What's some things that that sounds like it could apply for both sides, but specifically for men now, what should men ask themselves before they consider marriage?
I would say the same thing. Can I commit to you? Have we talked about the expectations? And again, it's different because I have met with couples that they don't have to be committed. It may be open for them, but that should be talked about and it should be very clear. Can I commit to you? And what does that look like? Is this forever? Is this 5 years? Is this 10 years? Do we just want to date?
Yeah.
Are we, And so what happens, and I say the same thing, if life throws us a curveball, illness, what if we can't have sex? What if an in-law moves in with us? What if my parents move in? So all of these questions. What if we can't have children?
Yeah.
What if I lose my job? Or can I move? And so it's all of these things, and and that's what I say. It's beautiful when we're planning the wedding, right? Everything is. There is some stress, right, behind it, but everything generally is nice because you're planning the wedding. But after you say your I do, then life is going to hit you and it's going to smack you. And do I like you enough to go through the fire?
Yeah.
I had a friend bring a hypothetical to me one day. It was on FaceTime and he said, it was Gino. I'm going to put him out. It was Gino. He said, and it's a real question, I believe, because, life. But he said, all right, hypothetical. You get married. Your wife gets into a bad accident. Paralyzed from the neck down. What do you do? Do you leave her or do you stay?
That's messed up if you leave. I'm sorry. That's effed up. What would you want her to do to you?
What if your whole thing, and she knows it too. Like your whole thing was, you want a legacy, like you want kids.
Get a Gabrielle Union that joint.
A surrogate.
Yeah, get a surrogate. Come on, man. What would you want her to do? Tell Gina what would you want her to do with you?
Well, see, that's the thing. Did he ask his mom and his sister all the like? We're all on this like he's at home and we're on FaceTime. We're having this big old huge conversation, and the reason that it made me think of like that because for initially when he first asked it, I'm like, dog, you wild. But in reality, it's actually not that an extreme of a question to ask yourself to really consider.
Can she? I mean, if I ain't having Marika on here, I'll be making way more jokes right now. But can she still talk? Like can she?
Paralyzed
she kind of like
neck down. I don't know what that entails.
Is it the Stephen Hawkins joint or does she got to do the little man?
We didn't get that deep because he was mainly talking about sex and kids, not conversation.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't. That's
because he wants kids. Like he wants 5 kids.
Yeah, you could get a surrogate. I don't know, man. That of course it's easy for me to say I'm not. Say it again, Marika.
There are options. There are definitely options, but that's the thing that it changes our life.
Yeah.
But it's love for you conditional or unconditional.
Yes.
So if somebody if somebody answers that question and says, if my wife is paralyzed from the neck down, I'm gonna leave, do you think that person should, and I don't, okay, so let me try to rephrase this, because I don't want to put you in a position where you go against something you might believe, or it's like, so do you think that person should ever get married?
If he's not
a person that's like, if my wife if I'm married, I get married, she paralyzed from the neck down, and we didn't have our kids already, I'm leaving. Then should that person even bother with getting married?
I would say that's not my decision to make, but it's easy to talk about it before it happens.
Yeah, I agree.
But should that happen, if I truly gave my life is something that we talked about, and our love is really solid and deep, then who knows what decision? Right now, it's just very it is the hypothetical, right. And so it's I don't think I could do it. I mean, and no one's saying that it wouldn't be extremely difficult. No one's saying that you wouldn't second guess. No one is saying but I want to feel you. I want to be with you. And what is that like? No one is saying that, and so it's just being able to, what supports would be out there for that.
Yeah. I can picture that joint happening and the dude, they agreed on a surrogate. Next thing you know, the nigga making up excuses like, oh, I don't know, we just keep missing. I got to try to hit her again. It's not working,
But see, because then that's another thing, oh, no. Yeah, okay, you doing a surrogate, but that don't mean your wife wants you to sleep with the woman. She wants you to
that's
go the
true
other
too.
way.
That's true too.
She wants you to go the other way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that the thing she brought up about the question is whether your love is conditional or not. That hurt me when she said that.
Conditional.
Because
I told her, I was like, you might as well just go the Abraham route.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm big on unconditional love, man. So if that's expressed pre-marriage, then it's expressed pre-marriage, man. If y'all discussed before, just like a prenup, if y'all discussed before, if you do this, you know what I'm saying, then I'm out, But so yeah, I appreciate that question. That would be difficult. Now, obviously, I'm not in that situation, so it's easy said than done. Obviously, right. So I could talk all that I want now and then next thing. But I feel like the type of guy I am, that's effed up, bro. I couldn't even. Just gonna get kind of deep. If my wife was in that situation, I probably wouldn't be able to get off on somebody else because I'd be feeling so guilty while she at home, while she's sitting down.
I think that's. I don't know if honorable is the word, but that's stand up of you to.
I'm not gonna comment because now I'm gonna look like a bad person if I answer the question.
That's very commendable. If you really couldn't do that, that's commendable because
if
you really love her, you.
Right. You throw the right person, and the guilt might say, "What guilt?" But look though, so all right. So if people are married, say that we're in a marriage, Marika, someone is there in a marriage. All right. what do you see personally? What do you see, in your opinion, after marriage that causes for the marriage to become now an unhappy situation for the couples? What's some of the most common things? Maybe 3 common things.
Oh, those are top. I think all of us probably are aware of this is communication, like how we talk to each other. And so shutting down, belittling, blaming, attacking one another, just withdrawing, not talking to each other, ignoring, and then sex. So shutting and cutting off sex as a punishment. And then finances. So finances is huge if we're not partnering together and sharing and talking about what's going on financially, but making financial decisions separately, whether it's good or bad, but making them separately, like we're not in this and we're not a family. And so those are things that I've noticed that have hurt couples a lot. And it really, I would say the top one, honestly, across the board is communication. Because if we're talking, then the sex can improve,
right.
The finances improve. But if we're not talking, then it's a domino effect. We're not parenting together. We're not, we're kind of 2 ships passing in the night. We're not sleeping together. And I mean, we're sleeping like totally separate.
Yeah.
We're not eating together. We're on different schedules.
Yeah.
What's the I want to talk specifically young people on this exact same question. Is there any 1 or 2 that is more prevalent amongst young people who get married? And when I say young, I'm talking 25 and under.
Is there any
one of those causes that is like more prevalent than the other when it comes to like does age matter? I guess is a better way to ask.
Yeah, is the issues more outstanding with younger couples or?
I haven't found so. Across the board, I have worked with couples that have been married over 25 years, and I met with couples that have been married less than a year, and it's communication. In terms of like, it's not, we're having, now maybe that if you've been married a longer time, but no, it's not like, this group has different challenges in this area, because it's the same in terms of infidelity. It's not just young folks. Older folks have infidelity too. So,
go ahead.
I actually want to comment on the finances because, so as far as married or just couples in general, when you see that the female makes or is more financially responsible than the man, that causes issues? Because I personally have experienced that a lot. Like even if they're financially, have an income coming in, just not being able to properly manage your bills, your money, like.
And I will tell you that that's why it's so important. That I joke, but those are those love goggles. If you come into premarital and that's happening already, it's not going to improve once you get married. Like those are things. And I got asked this question so often in graduate school. So do you need to marry someone that has a degree? To me. And it was, no, it doesn't matter about the degree. It matters about the integrity of the person. And so when you talk about finances, does that person have integrity, and will they meet you? Will they be able to talk about finances, or will it be sensitive to them? Will they be, if you hustle, will they, right? Will they partner with you? Do they share the same financial goals? And if not, then that's a challenge, and that's something that you have to really consider before entering into a union that you are talking about forever.
Exactly.
If you don't share the same, and so one of the one of the handouts like that I go over and talking about finances, and it's just a real simple sheet, and the couple has to choose: do I choose vacation or a new car, and see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. And you're doing it separately. Do I choose a new house or education for the children? Do I choose a new handbag or or getting a new house? Like, and just
Just so you
kind
go
of
on the
going
same
down and
page.
really yeah, and seeing about the financial personalities of each person. And it's not to judge, but it's something that this is good information for you to know.
Yes, cause
Should
man,
I move forward with this? And it's not something that you really want to play around, because if you have that idea, like if you can go out and say, "Oh, well, I had the money, so I bought this car." You had the money, so you bought
right? Like
a
I'm
$90
already wanted to
car.
go take a sledgehammer to it. Cause what if there could have been something we talked about that would have been more responsible to spend that money on instead of a new car that you probably didn't even need.
Okay. So
Like,
piggybacking off of Crystal's question, what do you say
Okay.
to, because
And that was a great question, Crystal.
yeah.
Thank you.
oh, this is from personal experience of why I've broken up with. So yeah, before I even get to that point, because I know it's gonna drive me crazy.
So and this is what I'm about to say, I've heard said, and I've heard been given as advice, not from somebody who like, not from a doctor or anything like that, just like an uncle talking to the nephew.
Yeah.
It's literally said, if you know you're not good with money, you better get you a woman that is.
Oh my goodness,
How
I
do
don't
you
know about
feel
that
about
one.
that? Like, okay,
'Cause
so
that can
if
be a headache.
we are, is it possible, right, for somebody to not be good with money, but they do that handout or what have you, and they're still on the same page as their spouse, they just not good with money, so it's like, okay, we're gonna let you handle the finances and I'll handle this or that, like
Oh
we'll
yeah, that's not
divvy up
bad.
responsibility.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Or do we both need to get to the same responsible level to really make it work? Like, what do you think?
No, no, that's a great question too. Also, know what it is, can I accept influence from my partner? So it's not that you're going to be great with finances and I have to be great with finances, but are you going to feel emasculated? Are you going to be able to respect and value me when I'm saying, okay, let's sit down and do it together?
Mm.
and I'll take the lead. This is my area that I'm strong in. And then, like you were saying, the area that you're strong in, that you will take over
Yeah.
that. And we just share that
Yeah.
versus you feeling like I'm trying to take
Yes.
over. And that can become a
Mhm.
problem if you are not able to value your partner, and whether that means you accept influence or whether you're like, I'm just going to do my own thing. And then you're spending money and making money.
I love it because
Yeah.
I'm the
That's
nephew
a good
that the
point.
uncle told that too. Because I used to be terrible. I say
Yeah.
used to be. I'm still kind of bad,
So
but
you
I
just
be
consistent.
terrible. But so I'm like, look, I'm gonna give me a wife who knows
Have
what
the
she's
little
doing on the accounting
book,
side
the
of
budget
things.
book, and write
I'm gonna
everything
let
down.
her handle that. She gonna tell me yes and no, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
As
That's
long as I don't gotta
good.
worry about the accounting, because
I
I'm
budget.
terrible
Oh.
at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'll take care of other stuff. You give me other
Exactly.
responsibilities.
Right? Yeah. No. Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's a give and take. I mean, I think that, admitting is the first step. As long as you can push your pride aside, like she mentioned, and say, yeah, I'm weak on that. She's strong on that. That actually could be like why I married her. Like, she's weak on that, I'm strong on that. She's weak on that, I'm strong on that. And y'all acknowledge that crap. You know what I'm saying? Well, I want to know, like, as far as financing, do you see a common denominator when it comes to the success in marriage as far as the arrangements of finances? What I mean by that is, do you feel there's more benefit in two separate accounts, or a joint account, or have you seen a pattern with that attached to a successful marriage, or is it so many
No.
variables that it just depends so many times?
No, and thank you, Sarah, because that often is a question. And I don't give couples any direction on that because it works differently for each one. So some do well with a joint, some do well with the household account, And then they have individual accounts or they have their own credit card. It's whatever works well with them. Sometimes the husband is like, I'm going to pay the mortgage, and then the wife pays the utilities. And so it just, whatever works well with them. But if you have a plan, then what I recommend is you sit down and you do it together, though, so that you know. Like, the thing that concerns me, if something should happen to you, and this is what, and you cannot speak, I should know the password. If money is coming out automatically, then I should know the dates that money is coming. We should both know what's happening. And that doesn't matter who's stronger or not. That just means that we're behaving as a team.
I like that.
Okay, I got you.
I like that.
Yeah, that's dope.
And just a side note, I worked in a bank, so if you're in a joint account, either one can walk in at any time, close the account, take all the money. So just
You
side
still
note
work
on
at
that.
the bank?
Well, I work in a different department. I work from home now, but when I worked in the branch, I seen people come in there and get mad and take all the money and close the account. So
Yeah,
we're gonna talk off camera.
I mean, look, I don't like. I would. I'm not married, obviously, but I would do a joint account and then I have something on the side without telling her. I'm sorry. That's just me.
I think joint account for bills, and I think we both should have our own account outside of that. As long as the bills are paid, I don't really, not really that concerned about what you're doing with your money.
But Tyrone, I do hear that sometimes, and that's a matter of trust.
Yeah.
And there is something called financial infidelity.
Ooh.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, please elaborate.
If I'm going shopping and I'm hiding my shoes from you, that's an issue. Why am I hiding my shoes? Why am I hiding my jewelry?
That's a wonderful.
Why am I not telling you?
Right.
Thank you for the ammunition.
If you're buying golf clubs, if you have a vacation spot and I don't know, why? Why don't I know? You are committing financial infidelity.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's nice.
I didn't know about the vacation house.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this, right? I'm not into sports, but I do talk about it sometimes. We're on the same team and you're hiding plays from me. Why?
Well,
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm not hiding to play, but I'm just hiding that I play another sport on the low. You know what I mean?
So you're cheating.
Well, the thing is,
you're cheating financially.
There should be.
Why do you have to hide it? That's the real question.
Well, the question is, the question is, why do you have to hide? That's a good question for sure. Because if you have, go ahead, Marika.
No, I'm sorry, but that's the thing, and so that's when I delve deeper. That the root of it is that you don't trust. So there's several things. I don't trust you financially. I don't trust you emotionally. If I can't trust you with my heart, then there's an issue. If I can't trust you with my finances, I should be able to say, hey, this is our main account. Sure, we have separate accounts. So I don't want to talk to you about it. I don't want to, but you know that I have it.
You don't need to know the balance and all that.
But if I'm completely, if I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting electronic, electronic instead of the paper. Not because I'm paper, but because I don't want you to know. Why? And that's the question that I ask. That is an issue that and when you're talking about going to the title, am I ready to get married? You're keeping secret.
Right. So
and that's where I'm going to. Like, if you have to keep a secret, whether I'm hiding who I'm talking to, I'm hiding an extra phone, I'm hiding a car, I'm hiding shoes, I'm hiding bills, you're going on the fast track.
So
not
the
working.
Content of it is less important than the knowledge of it's there. Like, I'm not hiding from you that it's there. I don't have to tell you how much money is in there. You don't necessarily need to ask how much money, but you know I have my own account. Like, I'm not hiding it.
Yeah.
You just know.
So go ahead.
No, that's all for me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And my thing is, okay, so why would for example, why would a woman hide that she brought some shoes? All right. And I'm not asking because I'm oblivious to why, but I ask that because if there's a joint account specifically for something, I just want to ask from your experience, what's the reason why someone, for example, will hide that they brought shoes?
Because I don't want you to know that I've been spending this much money. I spent $400 on these shoes.
Right, but
I don't want, and also, I didn't pay the electric bill twice.
okay,
And I
okay, so that's the reason why. Okay,
shoes. Okay.
Okay, so I'm assuming that
That's
a lot of
whole
those.
argument right there.
So I'm assuming that
you
a
can
lot
buy
of those
shoes
cases
without
are
paying
when they have a separate account and not a joint account, or what?
no, or I did not put my money. Some of the disagreements happen. I put in 400, or most of my check goes into the account, and you didn't put any in for the last few months. So it seems like it's only my money that's going into the account.
Both our names,
which
but it's
also,
only my money.
Yeah, my thing is why wouldn't you see that though? How long does it take for you to see that the freaking mortgages?
well, because I love you, then I continue to say it's okay.
So then, if you're gonna forgive them because you love them, you don't even gotta hide them. You could just put the shoes in front of some lingerie and say, "I brought these shoes today, baby." But I got Victoria's Secret underneath of these. Oh, but the shoes got to. Oh my God, what are you gonna do? You can move the shoe, or you know what I'm saying? But I understand how it could happen. If my girl, if my girl's hiding shoes, I'm thinking she cheating on me. Because I'm like,
what?
I'm like, why are you hiding shoes? You trying to be sexy for someone else?
Okay, so peep this. Okay. So this is gonna lead me.
my God.
This is gonna lead me into because I got cheating questions. Because I know some people that need to hear the answers to them. So I'm gonna ask you them. Okay, for their sake, because they probably won't come to you, but they need to listen to this. Okay, so say right, I'm a husband, and I say you don't hide the shoes necessarily, like you don't hide, like you just randomly wearing them, right? I said, where you get them shoes from?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is, a friend gave them to me.
Ooh.
And I say, what friend?
I want to get into this.
Like, this is okay. So this is going to the cheating aspect.
Lord.
Right? So is that a almost like telltale sign of cheating, or should I be careful in how I interpret that conversation?
I wouldn't say that's a telltale of cheating.
Yeah.
I would ask more questions.
Right. I wouldn't. Yeah.
Ask more questions.
Because what if she just got a dude that gives her free stuff?
Got a little sugar
If
daddy.
I don't know about it and haven't signed off on another nigga giving you free stuff,
I don't. Well, Tyrone, see, I don't. That's a slippery slope because I don't. I don't know if a husband or a wife would be okay if someone is giving those types of gifts.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I ain't gonna lie.
If I have some real sexy stilettos on, I don't think my husband would be happy.
Yeah.
If another man gave me those.
Yeah.
because like
he gonna
I
want
know
something in return.
men, and men have ulterior motives
he's gonna want
behind
something
buying
back.
women things.
Yeah.
I'm buying it because I want to see you in it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would say I would not say cheating. I would say that's conversation and what's going on and why have I met this friend? Has this friend been over? Tell me more. Like that's not an opportunity to fight, but an opportunity to really be curious. Is there something going on in our marriage that I'm missing? Like if you're accepting gifts like that, then what's happening? Like I need to know, like am I not there for you? Am I not listening? Am I not hearing you? Like are we allowing our marriage to be vulnerable? Because sometimes the marriage is in a vulnerable state and it's easier for someone to creep in and hurt the marriage. And it's not a fault necessarily of the husband or the wife, but not protecting your marriage is something that you do together.
Yeah, I feel that. That.
Okay, so I feel like just from listening to you, I feel like a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like almost all of the issues that is going to come about in a marriage, of all the scenarios that we can ask you today, everything is pretty much solved for the most part by
communication.
Yes, communication.
Yeah, I want to say it like Barney shit for Barney and Frank. Yeah,
because and
I was about to ask
and
you
that's
about
something
that.
that like I think I've known and have said before, what have you, but I think, and I would like your opinion, do you think that we just let that slip our mind, like we just start going through the motions in relationships from familiarity? Like, why do these communication errors creep up on us when we first got together? We couldn't stop talking.
I wanted to know the same thing.
I would say because everything is nice and there's no responsibility.
That's facts.
From the beginning, when you meet someone, what are we talking about, right? We're talking about places we like to go,
fun stuff,
things that you like. Exactly. We're talking about all the good and the nice things. But then, what happens when that ex calls? How do you handle that?
My exes hate me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back.
I'm joking.
It get messy.
I'm just throwing that in there, right? What happens when that my mother doesn't like you, or my father was a little testy. My father didn't want to meet you. Things like that. Things that kind of challenge you to talk about them more, to talk about deeper things than just the superficial, the fun things. And that usually comes out later in how we handle them. And so communication, I think many of us say, oh, I'm a great communicator. You think you're a great communicator until it's time to really problem solve. And you're upset, you're irritated, you don't want to talk about it. And then you're like, oh, shoot, am I that great of a communicator? Because I don't want to hear you right now.
Us communication, being a great communicator means getting to level 3 when in fact there's 20 levels of communication.
Yeah.
And we forget the depths of communication.
As far as communication, do you see, I want to know, like, even in women and men, do you see certain thing that causes a woman to shut down, and maybe something that causes a man to shut down as far as expressing themselves? Yeah.
Blocked.
Yeah, I would say that the biggest is just feeling emotionally safe. And I said this earlier, like from both. So I do not take for granted, and I work with individuals just as much as I work with couples, and there is definitely I would say a vulnerable, a softer side that I am very grateful to have the privilege of seeing in men and women. And so if that is taken for granted and I'm not allowed to be, oh, are you crying, or are you being dramatic, or are you being weak right now? Shut down.
So judgment would put someone in their shell, you would feel.
Judgment, being critical, emasculating, being abusive verbally.
Yeah.
To either, and men are abused just as much as women.
Wow.
It's just oftentimes it's not talked about as much because it may be embarrassing. But men, and this is what I see. Like statistically, the statistics may be different, but this is what I see. Just the words that are said. Like men may not be hit because they're physically stronger, right? But they are definitely torn down. And how do you get to the man? Like you talk about his character, you talk about like how he contributes.
Yeah, you talk about his manhood.
And you really like get in there. And so if I don't feel emotionally safe, I'm not going to open up to you. I'm not going to talk to you about that hurt my feelings. I'm not going to say that I miss you. And these are the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I miss you. I love you. I want to work. I want it to work.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel emotionally safe. Because, are you a punk?
That reminds me of what she's describing to me, almost darn near ain't no difference between that and a parent to a freaking child. if your child comes to you with I did this and you go off, guess what's gonna happen when they do that again? They're gonna think about a way to avoid telling you.
That's why I would never talk to my dad, because anything that wasn't in line with whatever he was feeling like doing was either instantly shut down or physically shut down. But I want to go back to, because I'm a bro. My last relationship was with a girl who, when me and her were just friends, right? And my main question is, do you think that there could be an overcompensation of the good and none of the vulnerabilities of the negative, only the I misused, the I love yous, because I feel like I overdid the goods, but I would only go so far deep on the vulnerabilities of that hurt me or this, that, and the third. And the reason I'll stage it this way, because I was with her, and when we were friends, because we became best friends before we got into a relationship. We weren't even thinking about a relationship when we became friends. It just out of the blue one day came up, and she was like, if you would have asked me to date you, because she was talking to somebody else, and I was like, nah, this is still my time. Like, you still only my friend. You can't date nobody yet. I'm not ready for you to date. And she was like, if you would have asked to date me, I would have said yes. And I was like, yeah, we not gonna let that go. We gonna have a conversation about this one. Anyway, long story short, when we were best friends, her mom loved me. The second she told her mom she liked me, it was, he's not good enough. He's not ready. He doesn't make this much money. This, that, and the third, right? Okay, she chose to be with me anyway, right? And for about 7 to 8 months, it was all good. Like, she stood her ground. We were making things work. I bought a ring. I was ready to propose. Wow. Right? It got to... Darn, man. So when she broke up with me, though, right? And, okay, I'm going off of the question. I'm just going to tell the story. I'm hurt. I still rap about it, so I'm hurt. Anyway, when she broke up with me, though, initially, it was because she was moving to a different... But we had talked about making it work through the move, right?
Okay.
So then, when I say, well, I don't understand, we talked about this. I know you're moving. Like, I encouraged you to make the move for yourself, da-da-da-da-da. Then it went to... She started tearing me down and saying the same things her mom said. Oh, you don't make this much, or you don't do this, or you don't do that. I don't think that you is this, and you're... Basically, I was trash, right? I was the worst boyfriend ever. Wow. The worst of... That, like... Yo, that hurt. I haven't gotten back into a relationship since that happened in 2018.
Man, you need to thank God that she shows you those colors, bro. Yeah. I'm sorry, man, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do it, even though I wanted it to. But my thing is, even during that whole period, I would be less inclined to show her the negative, or to be vulnerable in a negative way, like, oh, this hurts me, or like to be weak, I guess, quote unquote. And I just stuck to the I love yous, I miss yous, I'm gonna do this for you, I'm gonna do that for you, because I wanted to, I guess I wanted to prove to her and her mom that I was not trash, or what she thought I was. Do you see an overcompensation like that a lot, men and women? I don't want to make it a man thing, but do you see that overcompensation a lot, or sometimes?
I can say that I see it, because definitely, and I would relate it to not feeling safe to really show who you really are. And so then there's a mask. Like, I don't want to fall into that place where you're going to criticize me.
That is spot on. I never could word it, but that's exactly how I felt.
like on top of that, like how much does, like from your experience with speaking with couples, how much have in-laws played a part in contributing to a divorce?
I don't know as far as a divorce, but definitely
The problems.
conflict.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess where it goes to, where it stems from?
Where?
Communication.
Everything's communication.
If we didn't talk about it, so definitely there are some where I will say that are excellent, like that they love each other's parents as their own. There definitely are some that they value, but if there is not enough talk or planning, then that can be difficult. And some go into, which I find is really good and helpful, to say that we're going to raise our family, but our plan is to have our parents live with us, because we know that they're going to need, whether it's one or both of them, and they already start working and they work together. So it's not, I haven't seen that couples go to divorce, but I've seen some that really work well together and some don't. And many, even pre-COVID, have a parent living with them.
Do you feel like?
And I would say culturally, I find that African Americans tend to like have a parent live with them.
African Americans?
Yeah, a parent live with them more so.
So hold on. So, but hold up. With the parent live with them, or they live with their parents?
Live with them.
Their parent
No, I invite
like the in-laws moving
with.
into.
Right.
But black couples at what age? At any age?
Yeah, I would say maybe across the board. I would say maybe in their 30s.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
My parents did it, and I always would think it back in my mind, like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen when I get married. I mean, not that it was bad. I'm just saying, like, no one really
you don't
wants
want
that.
though.
Yeah, no one wants that.
That's not what you want.
Okay.
I always said I'm a build. Like, I plan on buying like a ton of land and making my own city.
Yeah.
Like, where we police ourselves and everything, right? I always said, and there's this one girl that I talk to, I would marry her, but I joke about marrying her all the time. And she knows it. And I always told her, I was like, look, ain't no parents living with us, but we gonna have so much land, we can give them a house like a mile away, and we'll always be ready to help. Like, we can always go down there. They can always come up here, but I'm gonna have like sirens that let me know when they're like half a mile out, so I know whether I need to like prepare myself to deal with people or not.
Yeah, I feel like, look, I don't love you if in my case, I'm not showing I love you by having you with me. I'm definitely showing I love you by having you the F away. Because if you live with me, I'm gonna not love you no more, and I want to keep loving you. I'm gonna have you way the freak over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna have to get through a song before I can reach you in a car. I put it like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to ask you. Okay, so another question, and I'm gonna ask you two more questions. All right.
Okay.
One of the. Oh, I'm sorry, my headphones. It's crazy. My bad.
That was all of them.
Is that me? Can you hear me now, Marika?
We should be good now.
I can. Uh-huh.
So one of the last questions I wanted to ask you is, and I got to feel I know what you're gonna say. You're going to say what I don't want to hear, but I'm going to ask you anyway. How long does it take for you to know that someone is the one? How long do you feel like it should be before there should be some type of engagement talked about, or realistically where you're like, dude, or girl, it's not going to happen. He's not going to propose, or you should like is there I'm not saying a concrete time where exactly 17 months but what range do you think is realistic to know whether you seriously could marry this person? Not that you want to, but you know that at least they're a candidate.
Tyrone, you know that I'm going to say no time. It could be 3 months, 6 months, and I've seen couples that met and married in the same year, and I've seen couples that have dated for 5, 10 years and decide to get married, and some live together in between there. So it really varies on what two people are feeling and what decision they make.
But you don't see a common denominator as far as, for example, high school sweethearts getting married and someone getting married after 10 years, and like as far as the happiness, like do you see
in terms of whether they're having a satisfying marriage?
Yeah, like if I were to put it in hypothetical words, like I noticed that couples that see each other for 12 months usually last for 10 years or longer, or a couple that married for three, or do you feel like after a certain year, like say 4 years, it could go either way? It could be a short marriage or a long marriage. Have you seen anything related to that? If not, then it's not. I just got to accept that, but yeah.
You know what? No, you know what I would say is that what I have seen is that if we're willing to go through it, like we have challenges, but we're continuously motivated and interested in working and repairing. Those are the couples that are long lasting. And I said earlier, like I've met couples that have been married 6 months, a year, and some that have been married 25 plus. And it is those that I'm unhappy with you, but I want to go to therapy and I don't want to lose you.
Yeah.
And I want to figure out what we can do to really repair and be in a happy place. And from my seat, I can tell you it is a pleasure to see those couples really work. And what happens is some couples don't even need a long time in therapy. Those that are extremely motivated, they're working out of session with me. They're working in session, they're attending their sessions, and in between sessions, they're talking, they're going out. They're doing a lot of work together.
Wow, that's great that could be a great conduit to really turn around a marriage. I mean, that's very encouraging to hear. You know what I'm saying?
What would you say? How can I say this without? What? How does it? Have you seen somebody like one person wants to do counseling, the other person doesn't, but they do it anyway for the partner? Is it like more frequently that turns out bad, or have you seen a good result from it where, I really didn't want to do this, but I'm glad we did?
I'm glad you asked that question, because what we call that type of couple is a mixed agenda couple. And I'm trying to think of his name now. Dr. Doherty from, I think, the University of Minnesota created what he calls discernment therapy. And what that means is that the couples that you're actually referring to, that one person wants the marriage or the relationship and one person doesn't, but yet they say, let's go to couples therapy, but couples therapy isn't beneficial if one person is already leaning out and one person is leaning in. And so what happens is they get mad at the therapist, they get mad at what's happening, they don't want to do the repair work. And discernment therapy was created for this reason. Now, there are some couples that are like, I'm glad, right? And in discernment therapy, there are 3 paths that the therapist helps the couple decide. And that's if they want to continue down the path that they're in and just stay like it is. Or second, they decide to separate and divorce. Or third, they agree to 6 months of couples counseling, which they are actually working on their relationship or their marriage, and separation is off the table.
Okay.
Wow.
That's genius, I think.
That's interesting.
I got two more questions. I'm glad I remember this question. Two more questions, really quick. When I had a roommate, I never lived with a woman before. I lived with a man. Well, I guess if I never lived with, well, never mind. I'm not even gonna go there. I was gonna say that's obvious if you never lived with women, but yeah. Anyway, so my point is, I learned so much living with a man about what I think I learned about marriage or expectations, and I want to get your opinion on it. What I learned from living with a man is that some things will never change as far as their habits and your habits. And so you have to choose what you're going to shut up about and what you're going to speak up about. For an example, one of my roommates never, this is so trivial, but just for example, one of my roommates never put the trash in the trash can. Never. He just always was, I take out the trash and everything. Every time he took out trash, he never refilled the trash can.
He never put a bag back.
He never put a bag back into the trash. But I realized that sometimes I leave my dishes overnight, but he never said anything. So I never said nothing about the bag because I was like, I'll take that. And I said to myself, I might be doing mad stuff he never says nothing about. So do you feel like couples should recognize, or marriage could, or do you even feel like it's true that marriage couples should see what they're annoyed at, but also see what they're willing to just kind of not speak up about in order to sacrifice vice versa?
Only if it really is not an issue.
Okay.
Because, and the reason why I say that, if it really does not bother you that it's like a blip, then go right ahead. But if you notice you throw it out there if we're arguing, I need to use this as a jab, or or it bothers me because you're saying something bothers you and I let it go, and then maybe it should be discussed, because I really encourage couples to not hide and hold their emotions, because then it can turn into resentment later on.
But do you?
I had it both ways.
But real quick though, but do you think that? Sorry, Austin, really quick. But do you think that as far as you should speak up, do you think it gets to a point where it's just the expectation is too close to perfection at some point? Like. If he does that and then does something else, do you feel like, all right, you gotta kind of be realistic about him being perfect when it comes to the?
Well, it depends, and that's when there is a nice little exercise that you practice empathizing with the other person, and it's what we learn, I think, throughout life. Sometimes we say it very flippantly, like, what must it be like to be in that other person's shoes? But I actually have couples practice, like, sitting close, tell me, what is it like? And I have to keep like challenging them. Do not respond as you. Respond. So what I would say to you, Tyrone, for example, right? What must it be like? Walk me through it that I did not put that trash bag in the trash can. For example, what's going on for you? What might be happening?
Yeah.
Did you learn that? Do you feel like it's okay and it's not a big deal? And I encourage you to talk from your roommate's position and not from your position. And the moment that you start to say, well, I just know, let's go back, rewind. What is it like to be in his? And I will apologize, and I'll say, I'm sorry. I know that I'm being difficult, but I really want you to speak from your roommate's position. Really get in there and tell me, what must it be like?
Well, the thing is, for me, because I mean, honestly, I never said anything to him, because for me personally, it was just like we never even. This is a true story. This is why I hope my marriage is like this. I mean, pause on this. But we never spoke about anything about the house, like about cleaning this. We never, and I'm not even, we never said, we just did what we needed for the house. We never said we need to, we just did it.
When you do it though, because see, I was in a situation where, okay, I absolutely cannot stand a dirty house. Okay, dirty kitchen, mainly kitchen and bathroom. Kitchen, because that's where bugs come from, from the food and stuff. Okay,
man,
so
I've been in some of the
one of
dirtiest
my
bathrooms.
roommates, and I've been in a situation where I lived with a girl that I was in a relationship with, and I've also lived with a really good friend. I bring up the really good friend one because it's like the opposite of what happened with you, right? So he wouldn't wash his dishes at night, right? And we're renting out the basement of somebody's house. Okay. So one thing I said, like early on was like, look, we in the basement. The bugs gonna come here before they go anywhere else. So at night, let's clean our plates, pots, pans, whatever we cooked with. Let's wipe off the counters, get stuff off the floor. That way we don't have to deal with roaches and all of that stuff. It's getting cold outside. They gonna look for somewhere to come anyway. Let's not invite even more in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, cool. But then week after week and month after month, it's dirty dishes in the sink. It's pots still on the burner. Like, and it's so freaking irritating that I can't help but bring it up every time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking pictures. I had a whole folder in my phone
Not
of
pictures.
dirty nigga in the kitchen.
Dang.
Like, that's what it was titled. And it was nothing but like pictures of stuff left behind and stuff not being cleaned up, not cleaning up after yourself type of stuff. And so I'm frustrated. I bring it up one time, you know what I'm saying? And he goes, well, there's stuff that you do too that get on my nerves that I let go.
I'm like, bring
like
it up.
What?
Good.
Like what? Like when you sleep out here on the couch in the living room instead of in your room, da-da-da-da-da.
What?
And I'm like, nigga.
Sleep on the couch. It's our couch.
Like, I'm sleeping on that couch, bro. And he bought the couch, so if that was his problem, cool. But,
Okay.
bro, I'm sleeping on the couch.
That doesn't compare
You're
to being
inviting
dirty.
bugs into my house.
But look though, so
The
respectfully,
things are equal.
that's the thing though. You got to respect his problem priority. All right. My thing is, if he had a problem, why he didn't say
Yeah,
that?
he should've
I
said
would
something.
fail your exercise, Dr. Martin.
Yeah, I would fail too because I be saying it mean. If I have to say it more than once, I'm gonna say it mean.
But
I don't like repeating myself.
But that example is what I'm saying in terms of the resentment. And couples have had a really difficult time. You ask about divorce. Couples have really kind of knocked on the door to separation because of different habits, and one of them is cleanliness. Like that has been very serious for many couples.
yeah, I would.
It's
They
so
are-
important to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And Marika, maybe you know too. I'm not sure, but adults are dirty. Really, adults be dirty.
Yo.
And
I do know some kids that's cleaner than adults, though.
Man,
Like, they'll
I mean, I
wipe
thought it
the
was just,
table and
you know,
wash
I ain't
the
gonna throw out my
dishes.
peoples like that, but I thought it was just somebody I knew closer. But when I started venturing out, I was like, dang, all of y'all dirty. So it's really minorities that are clean. The minority people are clean. I'll be like, I remember when I first walked into this girl, bad as a mug. First time seeing her room in my life, I was like, what? And you would never notice from the way she dressed outside. How bathroom hair all hanging from the freaking curtains, the freaking hair making a little circle that the freaking drapes hanging off
You
of.
know what's crazy is that, and this goes to what Dr. Martin said earlier. Is she said you got to be honest with yourself. Like, are y'all compatible? Like, you saw the signs. Don't.
Yeah, like I
be-
wanted to. I had a question
didn't-
about that.
I
to her.
ignored the signs with my best friend. Like
Yeah.
when he was living in his other place,
Yeah.
his room was a mess. The dishes was
That's
never
the thing. It's always
washed.
signs. You can always.
Yeah,
It's
like
just you ignore them.
dishes was never washed. When it came up, who got washed dishes? Oh, why don't he was living with his mom and his little brother? I ain't make all them dishes. Antonio, man. Oh shoot, I wasn't supposed to say names.
That's the.
See, man, look.
Dishes. So and so made the dishes. Why I gotta? And then I'm like, okay, but I'm like, all right. That's a sibling. That's a sibling thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a brother, older brother, mom thing, right?
Nah,
But
it's a
when he
dirty
come
thing.
when he come over this way, when he knows who made the dishes, he can't put it off on anybody else that made the dirty dish. He's gonna take care of his.
Yeah.
No.
See, look, I'm cocky with it. Real quick,
Okay.
I'm cocky with it. I think my marriage is about to be fired. I ain't gonna lie, because
What marriage? Is it something we should know?
It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying. And I mean, you
when
know,
it do happen.
when it does happen, yeah.
Oh,
You know,
okay. I mean, you said it like it was coming soon. I just need to know if I need to get my tux ready. You know what I'm saying?
if communication is, yeah, I know, right? If communication and willingness, first of all, we gotta do the bachelor plans for anything. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get free game. But no, if the communication and willingness is like the key, I know I'm good. My thing is reminding you of the dishes thing. That reminds me, if y'all worked at a job before, well, Dr. Martin has a special because she's kind of like her own. I don't know how she has to work side by side. But when you work with a lazy nigga, that reminds me of a lazy roommate, probably the same as a lazy wife.
Yeah, and I broke up with that lazy coworker too.
Yeah. But when you work with a good coworker and y'all don't say nothing because they know what has to be done, if they're free, they get to it.
Clockwork.
It's so less stressful.
Clockwork.
And if they are missing to the point where you're like, they're missing and this needs to be done, they must be doing something busy because I know what type of person they are.
Take care of their
Bruh, how much more or less stress is that? Them worrying, they trying to get, and then the couple get back thing, the get back. Oh my goodness, man, what are y'all doing? Go ahead, Crystal. I'm gonna ask one more question, but go ahead.
Oh no, I was just kind of back on the time frame thing. I meant to say something, but I just forgot. Because me personally, I don't give anyone more than a year of my time. Personally, if we're in a relationship, I don't mean just dating. Like we're in a relationship, and it's been a year, and I'm still not happy. The red flags are still raining high. Do you think that's impatient of me? Do I need to be more patient, or do you think that's okay to be like, okay, I don't want to waste my time? I feel like a year is enough for you to pull it together, especially when we're talking about the issues.
That's a problem in itself. If you weren't happy for a year, that sounds like a problem in itself to me. But I'm gonna let the doctor talk.
No, I've never been in a relationship over a year. I break up because I don't want to waste my time.
Oh yeah. You kind of like.
Do you think that's like too extreme or?
No, I don't think that. I don't think that you should wait longer than a year or that you're being impatient. If you notice red flags and if you're saying, okay, I'm giving someone an opportunity to give them time to turn things around, then that's fine. And it sounds like you are giving them the time that you can stand.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Someone else may do it shorter. Someone else may do it longer. If you're letting them know, hey, this is something that I don't like. This is something that I disagree with. And this is what I would like to see happen. And he doesn't turn things around. No, that person. So then.
Okay. And I just find it so funny that then all of a sudden, let's get married. This and that. I'm like, if I don't like you as my boyfriend, why would I want to marry you? Like, seriously, I don't understand that. What is that logic? Like, I don't understand.
I think I can fix it.
Yeah.
It's the same logic for let's have a baby.
Yep.
A ring will soften you. A baby will soften you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
It's unfortunate.
I never used that before.
Because
yeah.
both are hurtful.
Yeah. I mean,
do anything to make the situation better.
Yeah.
It's a Band-Aid at best.
Definitely.
And so my last question is it is a controversial question. I got to ask the hard questions, but look, it is what it is. Do you feel like after a certain age, maybe even non-verbally said, that marriage becomes just more of a business transaction as opposed to a loving action? Do you believe it's like just a business? I was watching an episode of Seinfeld. They said, hey, swear if we're 35 and we're still single, we're getting married. You know, just so they won't die alone, for lack of better words. Do you feel older people have that mentality a lot?
I haven't found that.
Oh, good.
Just in a couple of times. Yeah, I haven't found that it's more of a business transaction. Now, what I have found is across the board, maybe if you have children, particularly children, then you may decide that we're going to stay together because it's better to raise our family, together under the same roof than to separate. And we support each other better, and it just works better in terms of our work schedules. It works better in terms of education and childcare.
Okay.
Wow.
That's lovely.
And
I'm done.
this
Go ahead.
goes on to this. It's in line. So I know of somebody who gave somebody his friend some advice.
Ooh, I thought you was gonna go somewhere else with that.
Nah, I know somebody who gave his friend some advice, and so basically, him and his wife, right, going through a situation. Okay, he messed up. She found out. Or he was open and honest about it, whatever. But then she got back at him. You know what I'm saying? Tried to hit them with the one up. That caused all these problems. She wants to put him out the house, right? Now, my opinion is, and there's a child involved. So they have this like back and forth thing going on, right? Where I put you out, and then a month, a couple weeks or a week or days or whatever, however long later, come back home, yada yada yada, right? And I say, and I could be wrong, but this is just, I think more about the child than them. Like, I could really care less about y'all. I want the kid to be okay. So I'd be like, and it's been told before that the child mentally did suffer from a spat like this going before, because her dad wasn't home anymore, and it affected her, right? I said, bro, you need to be at home. I don't care if you don't have sex with her. I don't care if you sleep in a different room than her. Your daughter wants both of y'all at home. And you know, because you were told by someone with the knowledge, someone that, you know, a doctor, that your daughter had dealt with depression because you weren't home.
Oh, wow.
Like, and she says things, and I always tell people, I say, kids say things, like, kids are not stupid. They are probably smarter than us. They say things, and they know what they're saying. So when she says, so when they're out and about, and, you know, they're staying in, dad is staying here, mama's staying here, and she says, Daddy, I want to go home, she doesn't mean drop me off or have mama come pick me up. She means let's go home. And so I said, you need to be at home for your daughter's sake. And so I said, listen, I don't care if you choose, if you choose to let her do whatever she want to do, if you choose to work it out. To me, that's not as important as the mental health of your child. To me, I don't know how off base that is from a from your standpoint at being someone who, you know, actually does this for a living. I feel like when a child's involved, me personally, my emotional state is just, y'all need to do what's best for the kid and stop being selfish, because y'all have lived y'all lives. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are making y'all choices. Like, don't ruin or don't start your kid off on a bad foot out of selfishness. I don't know how off base I am, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
I would, and you're asking me a question, right, about that?
Yeah, I want to know if I gave bad advice.
You gave a loving friend advice, and you're for the child. And I will tell you that one of the questions that I do ask couples is, I don't say, yes, you should be together. No, you shouldn't. Unless there's an issue of safety. Then I talk more direct. Yeah. But I generally ask questions to help them make the decision that's best for them. But as far as when children are involved, I do the same thing. Like, have you considered the children? But sometimes if the relationship is toxic, it can be more hurtful to have the child experience that. And because this is what happens when I meet with, let's say I meet with the child that's now an adult, did you see your parents? Were they affectionate with each other? Did you, who made the decisions? Did you see them have conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I may ask them, knowing what you know now as an adult, what might you have concluded about marriage and or relationship? And so depending upon if they saw their parents in a healthy state, even if that meant that they were separated, right? They may be able to have healthier romantic relationships
I'm gonna have to see you
versus
at
not.
CashApp because I feel like I'm getting a free therapy session. My parents, I've never seen. My mom and my dad separated first before I even like could comprehend what was going on. Then they got back together, and I'm 2 years old when they get back together. Right, this is back in Kansas City. All the families there. My great grandma. We all at my great grandma's house having this big party. One of my family members got me up on their lap and they asked, Austin, how do you feel about your dad coming back home with you and your mom? And I say, I wish he'd go back to his house. This is a story that I was told. This is what I was told that I said. And I feel like, I guess my advice is because I feel like I would have rather like just had both my parents in the same place than, because I've never experienced my parents in the same house. Like it's always been a battle of custody, of back and forth. Like I've never stayed still. I've went back and forth between my mom and my dad, and whenever I went with my dad, it wasn't because of him, because I didn't like him.
Yeah,
it was because he let me do more than like. I wanted to play football. My mom said no. My dad said yeah. All right, I'm gonna go live with my dad.
right.
Halfway, once the football season over, which is halfway through 6th grade. All right, I'm out. I'm going back up to Maryland. I want to go back to live with my mom. I just came here to play football. Like you know, I just feel like I've been all over the place.
And that's common. That really is common.
Jeez, yeah. I got similar sentiments myself. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing is, though, you're the child. You were the child, and so what I remind parents is to be child centered in that way. Like it's not whether you should stay together or not, but to really be a secure and a safe base for the child.
Beautiful, beautifully said.
Love it.
I gotta ask these two the question of the podcast to end this off. All right. Then we're gonna wrap it up. Crystal, are you ready to get married? Are you ready for marriage? What do you think?
Yes and no.
Okay, wow.
Yes, because you know, I'm getting, you know, more mature and I'm ready to settle down. But no, because I feel like I'm just not meeting anyone who's you know, where I want them to be emotionally,
so you're ready.
mentally.
You just haven't met them. So it's a yes, you're ready. You just haven't met the person.
There's things I could work on too, but I don't think it's so bad that I would be like not ready.
Let me ask you something. I'm sorry.
No,
Taro,
please.
No.
Because Taro will be doing all the like.
How many? I'm really going to ask you something. How many ugly niggas have you dated? I want to ask you that. I'm sorry. I gotta ask.
Maybe one.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying.
And I tried, and I couldn't do it because I got really mad at him one day, and I'm not gonna say what I called him, but yeah.
Are you okay? More so, are you willing? And it's gonna be. I'm gonna ask you.
No, I'm not.
You're not okay. I'm not saying you should. Okay. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Be attracted. He could be ugly to other people and not ugly to me.
Right.
I have to be attracted to him.
There you go. Okay, I'm not mad at that at all. I feel like you deserve that. Austin, are you ready for marriage?
You know, at one point I thought I was. I don't know if marriage is for me anymore. Honestly, I feel like it's a
horny
contract.
nigga.
It would be a contract for me. Like it would be like, for example, okay.
That's what you say.
I'm gonna give you this example, right? I always said, and I knew from a kid, I want to get married, and I want to be a husband and a father. That's what I've always wanted. the more I start to live my life, like, because of course I was in a certain background at the time, which was,
Yeah.
I thought I'd be married by 25.
It was very in a restricted. It was in a concentrated way.
Right.
Like it was a pipeline.
Yeah.
The more I start to just live my life and be good with me, it's like, look, if you want to come along for the ride, so be it. But I'm not about to
going out your way.
Yeah, like I'm a nomad at heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm literally about to retrofit my car into a house so I could just travel the world. Like, I do DoorDash and I do carrier runs that's going to, like, allow me to make money while on the road, but also go everywhere in the country.
Right.
If I'm not about to, like, come off the road before I'm ready. I haven't seen enough yet. I'm not about to come off the road and buy a house in Waldorf.
Yeah.
Like, so no, don't ask. I'm not about to get an apartment and be stuck in this stationary place when I want to move. So don't ask me for that. Now, if you're also a nomadic person at heart and you want to hit the road, all right, let's talk about it. What do we need to do to make this a successful thing? Okay. Do I need to stay in one place for a year? Do I love you enough to stay in one place for a year while we build towards that? Or do I just want to worry about me and stay on the road, right? So, but then on the other end, it's like there's one female that if things go the way they're looking to go in the next year or two, and I get that bag that seems to be on its way, I already told her she's going to be taken care of, right? Like, the house that I buy is going to be our house. It's not going to be just my house. Like, her and her kids are going to be in that house. Mm-hmm. I tell her I'm going to marry her all the time. Right? Mm-hmm. Will that actually happen? We'll see. I don't know. I just be talking sometimes. But I would really marry her. But I know in my heart I would not want to come off the road.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then is it even fair to even get in that? So I would say, I used to say yes, but now I don't even know if marriage is really for me. Like, I'm not in that mindset right now.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, it's hard for me to answer that question. I think more of do I want to get married is probably more. I mean, I'll answer the question. Am I ready to get married? Yeah, I would say, okay, when I say that, I'm willing to get married. But I just got so much more to learn.
My
before,
question is,
like,
do you want to get married? Because I feel like if you say
I
want to
get married for sure.
Then you're not ready to get married.
Let me ask you something.
I want to. Now you could too, but I definitely want to get married eventually. But right now, the special phase I'm in my life, I got to figure myself out a little bit more.
It's just
I got to figure out what I believe a little bit more. Maybe, and then, but I'm not gonna lie. If a woman comes along who's that coincides with,
you off your feet,
and she's like patient with me, and man, hell yeah, like that'll be a blessing.
But Tyrone, have you dated someone ugly yet?
Have you dated someone ugly?
I'm just messing with you because you asked me.
You want to know what's funny?
I haven't.
I've never had an ugly girlfriend.
I haven't.
And
I can't do it.
Let yourself choose what you determine ugly. Tyrone seen most of them. I've never had an ugly girlfriend or like girl that I was once interested in. Like it just never.
Look, the viewers gonna hate me if
I was messing with Tyrone just because he asked me that.
Yeah,
question.
no, I never. No, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Well, and I'm not gonna do that because ugly people deserve love too. But I haven't got to that. I mean,
feel like ugly is a personal perception.
In the eye of the beholder.
Shoot, that joint is a science to a certain extent.
Not everybody because I would at one point I considered myself ugly, but then I was like, well, I can't be ugly if I keep getting bad jokes.
You could have a fire personality. You could be an ugly nigga with a funny.
I could be ugly and keep getting bad jokes, but that was my way of building up my old self-esteem.
Okay. But if you get them anyway, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But like it's a science behind beauty. I'm not gonna lie, it's a symmetrics. But anyway, I'm not gonna go deep into that. But y'all dumb niggas Google Fibonacci sequence. Say nah. Let me stop. I don't want to sound like a boss. But okay, look. So we gotta wrap this up. And honestly, like, look, I'm not playing a character when I'm on here, but I say stuff that I loosely know that I need to explain in person that I really don't believe in. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all think that this is, I'm silly personally, but I'll be joking, bro. Don't take everything I say seriously. I legit be joking.
I know you. I've known you my whole life. So
I want to thank. I want to thank Dr. Martin so much for being on the show and giving us her time. We appreciate this. We have a good amount of views, which I feel like it touches so many other people outside of us that is worth sending the message out. I think even if you multiply us times 2 and we reach that many people, it was worth it. But we're going to get way more than that anyway. So we appreciate your time. Obviously my cousin, so I'll talk to her anyway. But thank you so much. Do you have any last words you want to express or anything?
Just thank you for having me. I really had a good time, and I'm sorry for the technical difficulty.
Oh no.
But thank you.
Okay.
We have them on our end too.
So yes, I appreciate you for inviting me.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Go ahead. And
I am extremely happy that you made it on. Behind the scenes, Ty has been telling me about this since we started together. Like, you were one of when I first asked him to even be on this podcast before he took the reins over. You were one of the first 5 people that he mentioned, yo, just wait till I have this person, this person, this person, this person. You were in that first 5 names.
Oh, thank you.
That was 27 weeks ago.
Yeah,
27 shows ago.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely happy that you finally came. And let me tell you, you did not disappoint. You might have got yourself a new client out of me, because Lord knows I need some mental help.
Right. Do you take single patients?
I don't. You sound like a therapist in the non-cliche way. When I say you sound like, your voice, your patience in your talk and your response, I'm a deflector. I make jokes to cover up my pain. I laugh. I make jokes to cover up stuff. And I just like the way that you field those things. I think that is, I think you're very great at what you do in the short time that we've had here. So thank you so much for giving your expertise to our listeners and our viewers. I know they're going to benefit from it, and I thank you. Can't thank you enough.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Will you have a great evening and get home safely?
I appreciate that.
I appreciate the 3 of you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, this is Words Never Spoken, episode 30. All right, guys, we'll see y'all next week. Thank you so much. All right. All right. Bye. Thank you, Marika.